Cheese gets a bad reputation, too fatty, too salty, too indulgent. But what if I told you that certain cheeses, when chosen wisely, could actually help rebuild your muscles after 65? That's right. The secret to fighting sarcopenia might just be sitting in your fridge, quietly wrapped in wax paper and waiting to surprise you. In this video, I'm going to share 3 specific cheeses that are rich in the proteins, fats, and nutrients your aging muscles desperately need. These aren't your average snack cheeses. They're powerful, natural muscle repair tools that doctors and researchers are quietly recommending more and more for seniors over 65. Stick with me to the end, and I'll show you exactly how to enjoy them for maximum strength and minimum risk. I'm Dr. Thomas Reed, and after nearly 30 years of helping older adults recover strength and mobility, I've learned something surprising. The right kind of cheese isn't just safe. It can be one of the most effective foods for preserving muscle mass after 65. Sarcopenia, the silent muscle loss that affects millions, isn't inevitable. Today, I'll show you how 3 delicious everyday cheeses can help you stay strong, steady, and independent far longer than you might think. So grab a pen and paper, because you're definitely going to want to write this down. Let me start with cottage cheese. And I know what you might be thinking. Cottage cheese might remind you of those old diet plans from the 80s, but this humble cheese is actually one of the most powerful muscle-building foods available to older adults. Here's what makes cottage cheese so special. When you eat just half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese, you're getting 14 grams of high-quality protein for only 81 calories. That means almost 70% of the calories in cottage cheese come from protein. Compare that to regular cheddar cheese, where only about 24% of calories come from protein, and you can see why cottage cheese is in a league of its own. But it's not just about the amount of protein. Cottage cheese contains over 1 gram of something called leucine in every half-cup serving. Think of leucine as the key that starts your muscle-building engine. As we get older, our muscles become more stubborn about growing, and they need more leucine to get the message. Older adults need about 3 grams of leucine at each meal to really trigger muscle growth, so cottage cheese gets you about 1/3 of the way there, with just 1 serving. What I love about cottage cheese for my older patients is how easy it is to eat. Many people tell me they have trouble chewing tough meats or they've lost their appetite as they've gotten older. Cottage cheese is soft, creamy, and incredibly gentle on your digestive system. You can eat it straight from the container, mix it with fruit for breakfast, or even blend it into smoothies where you won't even taste it. The protein in cottage cheese is primarily something called casein, and this is really important for older adults. Casein is what we call a slow-release protein, which means it provides a steady stream of amino acids to your muscles over 6 to 8 hours. It's like having a time-release muscle protector working for you all day long. This is especially valuable at night because eating cottage cheese before bed can help prevent your body from breaking down muscle while you sleep. The research on cottage cheese is really impressive. Studies involving nearly 1,000 elderly participants showed that those who included cottage cheese as part of their daily routine gained significant muscle mass over time. The slow-digesting casein protein was particularly effective at maintaining muscle during periods when people weren't very active. Now let me give you some practical ways to use cottage cheese. For breakfast, try mixing it with berries and a drizzle of honey. The natural sweetness makes it delicious, and the combination gives you protein plus antioxidants. If you prefer savory flavors, mix cottage cheese with chopped tomatoes, cucumber, and fresh herbs like dill or chives. For lunch, you can use it as a protein-rich base for dips or spreads. At dinner, it works wonderfully mixed into casseroles, or even as a lighter substitute for ricotta and pasta dishes. If you're having trouble with the texture at first, try blending cottage cheese with fruit to make a protein smoothie. You honestly won't taste the cottage cheese, but you'll get all those muscle-building benefits. Some of my patients even use it as a substitute for mayonnaise in chicken or tuna salad. For the best results, aim for half a cup to a full cup daily, and I especially recommend having it at breakfast. After fasting all night, your muscles are most receptive to protein first thing in the morning. That morning, serving of cottage cheese can set you up for better muscle building throughout the entire day. The second powerhouse, Parmesan cheese, concentrated nutrition. Now let's talk about our second muscle-building champion, and this one might surprise you. It's Parmesan cheese, or as the Italians call it, Parmigiano Reggiano. You might think of Parmesan as just something you sprinkle on pasta, But this aged cheese is actually one of the most nutrient-dense muscle-building foods you can find. Here's what's remarkable about Parmesan. Just 1 ounce, which is about the size of your thumb, contains over 10 grams of complete protein. That makes it one of the highest protein concentrations of any cheese. For older adults who might eat smaller portions than they used to, this incredible concentration is invaluable. But here's where Parmesan gets really interesting. During the aging process, which takes at least 24 months for authentic Parmesan, something special happens. Natural enzymes in the cheese break down the proteins into smaller, more digestible pieces. It's almost like the cheese has been pre-digested for you, making it much easier on your stomach and digestive system. This is really important for older adults because as we age, our digestive systems don't work quite as efficiently as they used to. Many of my patients tell me they feel bloated or uncomfortable after eating protein-rich foods. But Parmesan, because of its unique aging process, is incredibly gentle and easy to digest. In fact, after 2 years of aging, authentic Parmesan contains virtually no lactose, which means even people who are lactose intolerant can usually enjoy it without any problems. Parmesan isn't just about protein, though. This cheese is also a calcium powerhouse. 1 ounce provides 331 milligrams of calcium, which is about 25% of what you need in a day. Now you might be thinking, calcium is for bones, right? Well, yes, but your muscles need calcium too. Every single muscle contraction requires calcium to work properly. Without enough calcium, your muscles simply cannot function at their best, no matter how much protein you're eating. Recent research has shown something fascinating about calcium and muscle loss in older adults. People who don't get enough calcium daily have a significantly higher risk of losing muscle mass as they age. So when you eat Parmesan, you're not just getting protein for building muscle, you're also getting the calcium those muscles need to contract properly. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Authentic Parmigiano Reggiano can be expensive. But here's the thing about Parmesan, because it's so concentrated in nutrients, you really don't need very much. Just 1 to 2 ounces daily is enough to make a significant difference in your muscle health. That's only about 2 tablespoons when you grate it fresh. And speaking of grating it fresh, this is really important. Those pre-grated containers in the store just don't compare to the real thing. When you grate Parmesan fresh, you get better flavor, better nutrition, and you'll find that you're satisfied with smaller amounts because the taste is so much richer. Let me give you some easy ways to use Parmesan in your daily routine. For breakfast, try grating it over scrambled eggs. That combination gives you over 20 grams of protein to start your day strong. At lunch, sprinkle it generously over soups and salads. The rich, savory flavor makes everything taste better. For dinner, use it on vegetables or create a simple protein-rich gratin with cauliflower or broccoli. You can even eat small chunks of Parmesan as a snack, maybe paired with some nuts or fruit. The combination of protein, calcium, and rich flavor makes it incredibly satisfying. Look for wheels marked Parmigiano Reggiano, with those distinctive dots around the rind. It's worth investing in authentic Parmesan because the superior nutrition and flavor mean you'll be satisfied with smaller amounts, making it quite economical in the long run. The third secret weapon, ricotta cheese, the fast-acting muscle builder. Our third muscle-building cheese is ricotta, and this one has a very special secret that makes it unique among all cheeses. Ricotta is made from whey, which is the liquid left over from making other cheeses. This might sound like it's just a byproduct, but it actually gives ricotta some incredible muscle-building properties. Let me explain why this matters so much. When you eat most cheeses, you're mainly getting casein protein, which digests slowly over several hours. But ricotta contains a significant amount of whey protein, and whey protein is the fastest absorbing protein you can eat. Your body can absorb and start using whey protein within 30 to 60 minutes of eating it. For building muscle in older adults, this speed really matters. Think about it this way. If you've just finished a walk around the neighborhood or done some light gardening, your muscles are ready and waiting for nutrients. When you eat ricotta, those fast-absorbing proteins get to your muscles quickly, right when they can use them most effectively. A half-cup serving of whole milk ricotta provides 14 grams of protein, similar to cottage cheese, but with a different amino acid profile. Ricotta is particularly rich in what scientists call branched-chain amino acids. These special amino acids have a unique ability to go directly to your muscle tissue, bypassing your liver entirely. They get right to work on muscle repair and growth. What makes ricotta especially valuable for older adults is its incredibly smooth, creamy texture. Many of my patients who have dental issues or difficulty swallowing find ricotta much easier to eat than other protein sources. It's naturally mild flavored, so it doesn't overwhelm other foods, and it blends beautifully into both sweet and savory dishes. Ricotta is also naturally lower in sodium than most cheeses. It has only about 100 milligrams of sodium per half cup, compared to over 400 milligrams in many other cheeses. This is important because many older adults need to watch their sodium intake for heart health and blood pressure. The research on ricotta is particularly impressive. In one study, participants who ate about 3/4 of a cup of ricotta daily didn't just gain muscle mass. They also improved their balance test scores and overall physical performance. The men in the study showed especially dramatic improvements in muscle strength over just 90 days. But there's another benefit to ricotta that often gets overlooked. The whey protein in ricotta has been shown to help lower blood pressure and improve cardiovascular health. So you're not just building muscle, you're supporting your heart health at the same time. For older adults, this dual benefit is incredibly valuable. Ricotta is amazingly versatile in the kitchen. Unlike cottage cheese, which has a very distinctive texture, ricotta is smooth and creamy with a mild flavor that works in almost anything. For breakfast, try mixing ricotta with a touch of honey and cinnamon, then spreading it on whole grain toast. It's like having a protein-rich version of cream cheese. For lunch, ricotta makes an excellent base for dips. Mix it with herbs and use it with vegetables, or spread it in sandwiches instead of mayonnaise. At dinner, ricotta can be stuffed into vegetables like bell peppers or zucchini, layered in casseroles, or mixed into pasta sauces to make them creamy and protein-rich. You can even use ricotta in desserts. Mix it with a little cocoa powder and honey for a healthy chocolate mousse, or blend it with fruits for a protein-packed smoothie. Some of my patients use ricotta in baking, replacing some of the flour in pancakes or muffins to boost the protein content. When you're buying ricotta, choose whole milk ricotta for maximum protein and satiety. The part-skim versions are lower in calories, but they may not provide the same muscle-building benefits. Look for brands with minimal ingredients, just milk, vinegar or citric acid, and salt. The best time to eat ricotta is within 2 hours after any kind of physical activity, even something as simple as gardening or taking a walk. Because of its fast-absorbing whey protein, ricotta provides rapid amino acid delivery to your muscles during that critical time when they're most ready to repair and grow. Now that you know which cheeses to eat, let's talk about when to eat them, because timing can make a huge difference in how well they work for you. This is where recent research has revealed some fascinating insights that go against what many people believe about eating. For years, we've been told that dinner should be our biggest meal of the day. But when it comes to building muscle after 65, breakfast is actually your most important opportunity. Here's why this matters so much. After sleeping all night, your body has been in a fasting state for 8 to 10 hours. During this time, your body has been breaking down muscle tissue to provide energy for essential functions. Your first meal of the day is your chance to flip the switch from muscle breakdown to muscle building. Research shows that older adults who eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast maintain much better muscle protein synthesis throughout the entire day compared to those who eat a typical low-protein breakfast of toast and coffee. Yet most people over 65 eat only about 8 grams of protein at breakfast. That's not even close to enough to trigger the muscle-building process. This is where our 3 cheeses become incredibly powerful tools. A breakfast that combines half a cup of cottage cheese mixed with berries, topped with an ounce of freshly grated Parmesan, gives you 24 grams of high-quality protein and over 2 grams of leucine. That's enough to switch your body from breaking down muscle to building it up. But timing isn't just about breakfast. It's also about how you distribute protein throughout your day. Many older adults follow what I call the light-heavy pattern. They eat very little protein at breakfast and lunch, then try to make up for it with a large portion of meat at dinner. Unfortunately, this approach doesn't work well for aging muscles. Your muscles can only use about 25 to 35 grams of protein at one time for building new muscle tissue. If you eat 60 grams of protein at dinner, your body can't store the extra for later use. It's like trying to water a plant by dumping a whole bucket on it once a day, instead of giving it smaller amounts of water throughout the day. The ideal pattern for fighting muscle loss is to eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at each main meal. This might look like cottage cheese mixed with fruit at breakfast, a sandwich with ricotta and vegetables at lunch, and your regular dinner topped with freshly grated Parmesan. There's one more timing secret that can really boost your results. If you do any kind of physical activity, even just a 15-minute walk around the neighborhood or some light gardening, try to eat one of these cheeses within 2 hours afterward. Research shows that the combination of physical activity plus protein creates a much more powerful muscle-building response than either one alone. This doesn't mean you need to exercise vigorously. Even gentle activities like walking, stretching, or doing household chores count as physical activity for your muscles. The key is eating protein while your muscles are still in that responsive state after being active. One of the most common questions I get from patients is exactly how much cheese they should be eating each day. Let me give you specific, practical guidelines based on what the research shows works best. First, let's figure out your overall protein needs. Current recommendations for adults over 65 suggest eating 1 to 1.2 grams of protein for every kilogram you weigh. To calculate this for yourself, take your weight in pounds and divide by 2.2 to get your weight in kilograms. Then multiply that number by 1.2. For example, if you weigh 150 pounds, that equals about 68 kilograms. Multiply 68 by 1.2, and you need about 82 grams of protein each day. Now, you're not going to get all of this from cheese alone. That wouldn't be balanced nutrition. But cheese can provide a significant portion, especially at meals where other protein sources might be lacking. Based on the research studies that showed the best results, here's what I recommend for daily cheese intake. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of our muscle-building cheeses each day, with each serving providing 10 to 15 grams of protein. This might look like half a cup of cottage cheese at breakfast, an ounce of Parmesan at lunch, and a third of a cup of ricotta at dinner. That combination gives you about 35 to 40 grams of protein from cheese, which is roughly half of your daily protein needs. Now, I know some of you might be concerned about the calories and fat content. It's true that cheese contains fat, but remember, we're talking about specific portions, not unlimited amounts. The total calories from these cheese servings would be about 300 to 400 calories per day, which is very reasonable as part of a balanced diet. The most important thing is consistency. The studies that showed the most impressive results had participants eating cheese every single day for at least 60 to 90 days. You can't eat cheese once or twice a week and expect to see significant muscle gains. Think of it like taking a daily vitamin. It needs to become a regular part of your routine. I always tell my patients to think of cheese as an investment in their future independence. The small amount of extra calories you're eating now could be the difference between being able to climb stairs easily at 80 or struggling with basic daily activities. While the research clearly shows that cheese alone can help fight muscle loss, combining it with the right kind of exercise creates what scientists call a synergistic effect. The results become greater than what you'd get from either cheese or exercise by themselves. The type of exercise that works best for building muscle is called resistance training. Now, before you start thinking about heavy weights and complicated gym equipment, let me put your mind at ease. Resistance training for older adults can be as simple as getting up and down from a chair, doing push-ups against a wall, or using elastic resistance bands. Here's what the research tells us about this powerful combination. When you do resistance exercises and then eat one of our muscle-building cheeses within 2 hours, your muscles respond much more strongly than they would to the cheese alone. In fact, this combination can restore what researchers call a youthful muscle-building response, even in people over 80 years old. The beautiful thing about this approach is that you don't need to exercise every single day. Research shows that resistance training just 2 to 3 times per week is sufficient to maintain and build muscle when you're also eating adequate protein. On the days you don't do formal exercise, you can still continue eating your cheese servings to provide steady nutrition to your muscles. Even everyday activities count as resistance training. Gardening, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, and even vigorous housework all provide the kind of muscle stimulus that works well with protein intake. The key is to stay active and then fuel your muscles with the right nutrients. While cheese can be a powerful tool for building muscle, there are some important things we need to discuss, especially if you have certain health conditions or concerns. Let's start with lactose intolerance, which becomes more common as we age. The good news is that the cheeses we've discussed are generally much better tolerated than regular milk. Aged Parmesan contains virtually no lactose after its long aging process, Cottage cheese and ricotta do contain some lactose, but much less than milk. If you're lactose intolerant, start with small amounts and see how you feel. You can also try taking lactase enzyme supplements before eating cheese. If you have high blood pressure, you'll want to pay attention to sodium content. Parmesan is naturally higher in sodium due to its aging process. Cottage cheese varies widely between brands. Some varieties have over 400 milligrams of sodium per half cup, while low-sodium versions have less than 100 milligrams. Ricotta is naturally lower in sodium. When shopping, look for low-sodium options when they're available, and balance your cheese intake with plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables. For those of you watching your cholesterol levels, I have some reassuring news. Recent large-scale studies involving thousands of people have shown that cheese consumption, when it's part of a balanced diet, doesn't significantly raise heart disease risk in most people. The key is portion control and choosing the right types. Stick to the serving sizes we've discussed, and consider lower-fat options like part-skim ricotta or low-fat cottage cheese if you're particularly concerned. If you take blood-thinning medications like warfarin, it's important to maintain consistent cheese intake from day to day. Cheese contains vitamin K, which can interfere with these medications if your intake varies dramatically. The solution isn't to avoid cheese, but to eat it consistently and let your doctor know that you're including cheese in your daily diet. For anyone with kidney disease or reduced kidney function, high protein intake can be problematic. If you have any kidney issues, please talk to your doctor before significantly increasing your protein intake through cheese or any other source. Now let's put all this information together into a practical plan that you can start implementing today. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to incorporate these 3 powerful cheeses into your daily routine for maximum muscle-building benefit. Start by transforming your breakfast into a muscle-building meal. Within an hour of waking up, eat half a cup to a full cup of cottage cheese. You can mix it with fresh berries for antioxidants and natural sweetness, or if you prefer savory flavors, combine it with chopped tomatoes and fresh herbs. If cottage cheese isn't appealing to you at first, try ricotta spread on whole grain toast with a drizzle of honey and a sprinkle of cinnamon. The goal is to get 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast to kickstart your muscle-building process for the day. For lunch, find creative ways to add Parmesan to whatever you're eating. Grate a generous ounce over your salad, soup, or sandwich. The rich, savory flavor enhances other foods and makes meals more satisfying. If you're having a lighter lunch, consider adding ricotta as a spread or dip base with vegetables. Remember, you need another 25 to 30 grams of protein at this meal to maintain steady muscle support. At dinner, use cheese strategically to boost the protein content of your evening meal. If you're having pasta, mix ricotta into the sauce for creaminess and protein. If you're eating vegetables, top them generously with freshly grated Parmesan. If your main dish already contains plenty of protein from meat or fish, you might use just a small amount of cheese or save it for an evening snack. Keep these muscle-building cheeses readily available for snacks too. Small containers of cottage cheese, pre-portioned ricotta, or chunks of Parmesan can provide quick nutrition after physical activity or between meals when you need an energy boost. Say you spend 10 minutes doing some simple exercises like standing up and sitting down in a chair 10 times, doing 10 push-ups against the wall, and lifting your arms up and down with light weights or even water bottles. This gentle routine might take you all of 10 minutes. If you follow this activity with a snack of cottage cheese or a meal that includes Parmesan or ricotta, your muscles will use that protein much more effectively than if you had eaten the cheese while being sedentary all day. It's like the exercise wakes up your muscles and makes them more receptive to the nutrients you're providing. I recommend keeping a simple journal for the first few weeks. Note which cheeses you ate, how much, and when you had them. After 2 weeks, start paying attention to any changes in your energy levels, how you feel when doing daily activities, or your overall sense of strength. After 30 days, you might notice that tasks like carrying groceries or getting up from chairs feel a bit easier. After 90 days, you should see significant improvements in muscle strength and overall physical function. As we reach the end of our time together, let me give you clear, specific action steps that you can take today to start your muscle-building cheese journey. First, make a trip to your grocery store and buy all 3 cheeses we've discussed. Get cottage cheese, authentic Parmesan, and ricotta cheese. Buy enough for at least a week so you can experiment with different ways of eating them and find what you enjoy most. Second, Take a moment to calculate your daily protein needs using the simple formula I shared with you. Write this number down and put it somewhere you'll see it every day, maybe on your refrigerator, as a daily reminder of your goal. Third, plan your meals for tomorrow, making sure each meal includes 25 to 30 grams of protein with at least one of our 3 muscle-building cheeses incorporated. Fourth, if you're not already doing some form of physical activity, start with just 5 minutes of simple movements. This could be standing up and sitting down from a chair, doing push-ups against the wall, or lifting light weights or water bottles. Plan to do this just 2 or 3 times this week. Nothing overwhelming. Fifth, mark your calendar for 90 days from today. That's when you should take a moment to assess how you feel, how strong you've become, and what changes you've noticed in your daily life. Many people are genuinely amazed at the transformation they see in just 3 months. Remember, muscle loss is not an inevitable part of getting older. With these 3 cheeses as part of your daily diet, combined with the strategies I've shared with you today, you can maintain and even rebuild muscle mass well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. The science is clear, the approach is simple, and the potential for positive change is real. But knowledge without action won't help you. The question now is whether you'll take that first step. Will you go buy cottage cheese and eat it for breakfast tomorrow morning? Will you grate fresh Parmesan over your lunch? Will you commit to 90 days of consistent cheese consumption to see what's truly possible for your body? I believe you will, because I believe everyone deserves to age with strength, confidence, and independence. These 3 simple cheeses can be your allies in that journey. Use them wisely, use them consistently, and prepare to be amazed at how your body responds. Your muscles are ready and waiting for the nutrients they need to rebuild and grow stronger. With cottage cheese, Parmesan, and ricotta on your side, you have everything you need to succeed. It's never too late to start building muscle, and now you know exactly how to do it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Here's to your health, your strength, and many more years of independence and vitality ahead. Now go eat some cheese. Your future self will thank you for it.